one thing I didn't mention in the previous video that I should have is that when you bring in some of these downloaded trees and other objects that you can get from the web, when you merge them into your scene, they may or may not have their materials properly linked. So you can see the path here is still linked to the computer of whoever made this. That person is not me. So it's linking to his computer, not mine. So in other words, it wouldn't find this unless I went in and made some adjustments. So what I can do is go to Customize, Configure User Paths, and External Files. Now, any path that's included in here, 3D Studio Max is going to look in that path to find the name of this map, which is VP Free Birch Leaf. Okay, so if it can't find it anywhere in there, it's just going to render without it, and your tree will probably be invisible. So what you do is just add, you navigate to where you want to add a path and you make sure it's in here, or you just save all your materials in one place, make sure that is always added in here, and then you could move these materials to there. And what you really should do is go in here, navigate to where you know it is. So it's finding it because it knows to look in this folder for it. But if I click on here, it will now change that path to where it's actually sitting. And that's good if you're doing network rendering or anything like that, because no matter where it is, well, you're much more likely to lose it on a network render if you don't have the path correctly linked here. So that's kind of an important thing to do. If it's finding it even though it's got the wrong link here, it might not find it when you send it to network render. Okay, so that's an important thing for setting up for the final render. Other than that, let me just run through the render settings again. The demo version keeps turning them off anyway, so we need to go in and set them up. The essential ones are to make sure GI is on. A radiance map for the primary engine is pretty standard. Light cache is pretty standard for our secondary map. I'm going to set my settings low because I want this to render fast. I can set this light cache down to about 600. If you want higher quality, you can leave them right where they were. Make sure your resolution's fine. For what I'm doing, this is going to be okay. That's a very low resolution, by the way. Make sure this is checked. Make sure you selected where you want to save that to. This is all fine. Remember, image sampler, if you turn this up to like 8 or 16, you get much crisper, sharper lines. 4 is about as low as you'd ever want to go there. This noise threshold, 0.01 is good. 0.005 is better. 0.001 is really good. For what I'm doing, these settings are fine. The one thing I wanted to do as well is turn up my sun a little bit. It's pretty low intensity wise. Maybe 0.25 will work. Go back to my camera and make sure this stayed on. Nope, it didn't. Anytime you go out of here, it resets itself. That's okay. It's a free version just for you guys to learn on. Really, if you're going to get serious about this, you got to get V-Ray, a full version. You're not allowed to use this demo version for any commercial projects, and it wouldn't make much sense anyway. It's got a watermark and it resets itself over and over. So this is ready to render. If I hit render, then we're going to get all those channels spit out and saved to where I specified, and we'll be ready to go into Photoshop. Stay tuned for that. That's a really fun part of this whole process.